Greetings from Handbell Musicians of America's 2026 National Seminar in Cincinnati, Ohio, and welcome to our pre-concert introduction to the world of English handbells and hand chime ringing. This week, hundreds of participants from the United States and around the world are immersed in all aspects of handbells, ringing, learning, creating, networking, refining tried and true practices, and experimenting with innovations, reuniting with old friends, and welcoming newcomers. Twice each day we gather to enjoy some of the very best performing ensembles. These concerts are also live streamed and enjoyed by thousands of people, many who know all about handbells, and possibly more who don't. We'd like to fix that. Thanks to a grant from the Coalition of Music Organizations, Handbell Musicians of America offers this pre-concert video to introduce you to the world of handbell and hand chime ringing, its history and culture, the techniques used in performance, and the art and versatility of this wonderful instrument. We hope it enhances your enjoyment and appreciation as you experience handbell ringing in the upcoming concert. English handbell ringing arises from the 16th century tradition of tower change ringing, an art still very much practiced in bell towers around the world. Racks of massive tuned bells mounted on wheels high in the towers are placed in motion by ringers far below, pulling ropes in intricately choreographed patterns. It was, and still is, a very public place to air very loud mistakes across the countryside, a physically demanding exercise, and sometimes an uncomfortably hot or cold setting for practicing and learning the ropes. Smaller bells with handles were cast, corresponding with the tower bell notes, allowing ringers to practice their mathematical change ringing patterns in a more comfortable setting. By the 18th century, with technology improving the accuracy of the pitches, these tuned bells also lent themselves to playing actual songs, and English handbell ringing as we know it was born. Today, thousands of people around the world embrace the art of English handbells, working together in close coordination to make beautiful music. Our organization's roots reach back to 1923, when Margaret Shercliffe gathered a small group of friends on Beacon Hill in Boston to ring her newly acquired set of handbells from England. In 1937, the New England Guild of English Handbell Ringers was formalized. In 1954, this guild sponsored the first American Handbell Festival, and the American Guild of English Handbell Ringers was formed. Ringing ensembles multiplied across the country, many established in churches as a new way to involve members in their music programs. Music educators, recognizing the pedagogical benefits of handbells, adopted them into individual and district-wide school music programs. Ringers, seeking more variety, established community-based performing ensembles, offering workshops for local ringers and concerts of sacred, classical, contemporary, and original music. Some musicians branched out into solo ringing and bell trees, while others discovered the challenge of small ensemble ringing. In 2010, we began doing business as Handbell Musicians of America to better define ourselves in the mainstream music world. This is our vision: uniting people to create a diverse community in which handbell ringers of every skill level realize their full potential through a musically respected art form. Our mission is to advance the musical art of handbell and hand chime ringing through education, community, and communication. Many of our members are teachers as well as performers, instilling a love of music and performance in their students, creating the next generation of ringers, directors, and composers. Ringing events create a sense of community and connection with other young handbell ringers across the country. We are still a relatively young musical art form, open to new ideas and new members. Handbell Musicians of America embraces creativity and diversity in all facets of ringing, as we strive to express our love of handbell ringing with the world at large. What is it about handbell and hand chime ringing that is so enticing? Every ringer has their own reasons, as unique as the instrument we love and as diverse as the music we play. There is a unique allure of this instrument and its growing influence and connection in the musical arts community. Very clearly, ringing with your friends is fun. Ringing is fellowship. Ringing is open to all abilities. It's an amazingly flexible instrument, carrying us to unusual venues, from baseball fields to underground caverns, and everywhere in between. Robust exercise for the body, and a welcoming challenge for the brain. Ringing is an outreach and comfort, an act of worship, a welcoming, hands-on introduction to the world of music, an engaging new skill in later life, a worthy challenge with great rewards, and a lifelong passion that keeps us focused and connected. Ringing can be an individual journey, but more often it's a collaborative group activity with 10 or more of your best friends. In all cases, ringing makes our lives more beautiful and, in turn, inspires and uplifts others when we share our music. We at Handbell Musicians of America hope this brief glimpse into the world of ringing will help you appreciate and understand the passion of the ringers you are about to see and how this instrument works.
Hello, my name is Catherine Gerardo, and this is William J. Murphy, and we're here to share with you a few things about handbells. The three things we'd like to share with you are, number one, what they're made out of, number two, how they make a sound, and three, the range or how high or low handbells can sound. So number one is what they're made out of. Handbells are made out of a metal alloy made of copper and tin called bronze. But now, as you can see, this bell over here is not made out of bronze. It's actually made out of aluminum, but the majority of our handbells are made out of bronze. The second thing is how they make a sound. Inside our handbells are clappers, and when we ring the bell, the clapper strikes the inside of the bell to make it sound. Now, there are other ways to make sounds on handbells, but we'll talk about that later. For now, we're just going to ring them all for you. So last but not least, we'd like to share with you the sound of the range of handbells. So the first thing is that all of these are the pitch C. So when I say C, that's what it refers to, like A, B, C, D, E, and for G, our musical alphabet. The second thing you'll hear is the number, and the number refers to how high or low. So the lower the number, the lower it sounds and the bigger the bell. The higher the number, the higher it sounds and the smaller the bell. So first we're going to ring for you the C2 handbell. As I'm sure you anticipated, that was a nice low sound. So now we're going to get a little bit smaller and play the C3 handbell. And now we're going to continue on up to the C4. And here's our C5, C6, smaller, C7, C8, and our last one, C9. And this is our handbell family. So besides handbells, we also have hand chimes. And we also have a wide range of hand chimes, just like we do our bells. But the number one thing that is different about them is that they're made out of completely different material. Hand chimes are made out of aluminum, and they're not round like handbells, and the clapper is right on the outside. So again, just as a quick reminder, when I say C, it refers to the pitch. And when we say a number, it refers to how high or low. And that's what the range is, how high or low they sound. So first we're going to have our C2, and then we're going to make it all the way up to our C8, which is obviously our smallest one. Really awesome low sound. And when you get them in the right acoustical location, they sound amazing. So that was our C2, and as you can see, it was pretty much as tall as William. So our next chime will be the C3. It's a little bit higher, but still a nice low sound. Next we have our C4 chime. And we're going to continue on up. Here's the C5. And then next our C6. C7. And lastly our little C8. So that is our hand chime family of instruments.
Hi everyone! Many thanks goes to Kathleen Wissinger, who brought us through the history of handbell and hand chime ringing, as well as the history of our organization, Handbell Musicians of America. We also want to thank Catherine Gerardo, who just showed you some of the instruments you're likely to see in this week's concerts. Both of these women serve on the National Board of HMA, the Handbell Musicians of America. My name is Jillian Erlenborn, another member of the National Board of HMA, and I'll be taking you through some of the mechanics of handbell and hand chime ringing. Let's start with some of the equipment you're likely to see in the concert this week. We'll start with the obvious, which is this table that your ringers are likely to be standing behind. Each of the tables will have about 3 to 4 inches of foam on top, which protects the bells for various techniques that you might see, and we'll get into more of that later. You may also notice many of the groups using these binders. We tend to use split back binders that will sit on top of the table or sometimes on top of a riser to keep our music in. Now next up, you'll notice some of our ensembles may decide to use gloves. It's largely a personal preference for the ringer or for the director, but what it does is it helps to protect not only the bell from fingerprints, but also the ringer's hands so that they don't get too sore during the concert. You'll likely see some technique materials such as mallets in various sizes and potentially even wooden dowels, but more on that later. As Catherine mentioned, most of the bells you'll see in this week's concert will be made out of what we call bell bronze. The bell bronze is what makes up the casting, which is that bell shape you see from the exterior of the instrument. That casting is then placed on a handle, which is where the ringer will hold the bell. It is separated by a hand guard, which stops the ringer's hand from coming up and touching the metal and therefore stopping the sound. On the inside of the bell, we have what's known as the clapper mechanism. This mechanism moves from one side to the other in one plane, which is what differentiates this as an English handbell, as opposed to a bell that might have a free-flying clapper inside, like a dinner bell. On the bottom of the bell, on the inside, you have 2 restraining springs, which can be tightened or loosened depending on the ringer's preference. Generally speaking, you're going to have the bell be looser for the strike forward and tighter on the way back. This basically makes it so that the ringer can have an easier time ringing the bell without it accidentally ringing when they're coming back to damp. What is damping? Well, let's start with what is ringing. Can you take your hand and make a little circle with your pointer finger and your thumb? That's what's going to happen right up against the hand guard here. The rest of your 3 fingers are going to just rest pretty lightly on top of the handle. What this does is it gives your bell a nice plateau to rock on, while the other 3 fingers can be used to guide your squeeze of the handle to make that ring happen. When you start, you're going to start at ready to ring position, which is just here on your chest. You're then going to ring forward and down, give that little squeeze, and then bring the bell back up to your chest. That's generally our usual ringing formation. Our stroke is what we call it. Now, when you bring the bell back, that's what we call damping. And damping is how we silence the pitch. So it's important to note the casting is what's making the vibration, right? The metal vibrating is what's creating the sound. Not from the interior of the bell, like say a trumpet, where the air is coming through and that's what's making the vibration. Now, as you are moving your bell back, you want to make sure you get the whole vibration, the whole vibrating casting, to stop. If you only damp the lip of the bell, which is where the fundamental pitch comes from, aka what's on the handle, you'll have what's left over, all of those overtones, which are the higher pitches that give the bell its color. So if I only damp the lip, here's what it'll sound like. Those higher pitches remain. Whereas if I damp the whole casting, I get absolute silence, which is usually what we're after. Now, if I want to ring slightly softer or slightly louder, I really am just adjusting the speed at which the clapper is hitting the bell and the force that I'm using. So if I want a quiet ring, I can make a slow motion that is rather gentle. If I want a loud ring, I can ring the bell pretty forcefully and a bit faster. Now, the size of my ring and the speed at which I'm moving my arms usually has to do with the rhythm. If I'm going to be playing a whole note, I'm going to want a bigger circle that takes a while to get through. If I'm just ringing an eighth note, I might want to make a smaller circle that's closer to my body. There are a lot of similarities between handbells and hand chimes. The main difference, of course, being the shape of the instrument, as well as what it's made out of. The aluminum that is made to use a chime and the 90-degree angles of the body are what create such a pure tone in this instrument. Your ringing stroke is going to be very similar for a chime. The biggest difference is actually your damping. When you go to ring a chime, what happens is the clapper head strikes the chime on what we call the tines. This is where the vibration is occurring. So when you go to damp your chime, if you bring the chime back, clapper first, which is kind of the stroke of a handbell, you're not going to end up damping the chime. Instead, what we need to do is turn the chime inwards so that the tines are what's actually touching the chest of the ringer. Now, most chimes of any size are going to be rung in the same way, with the exception, of course, being the massive chimes that you saw William playing earlier, which are usually struck by a mallet. You'll usually hear handbells measured in the number of octaves that a group plays. An octave is one chromatic scale, including all of the sharps and flats. Many of the groups you're going to be hearing this week are going to be playing between 5 and even more than 7 octaves, which gets close to about 100 bells without even considering all of the extra chimes or specialty instruments they may be using. Handbells and hand chimes are actually a transposing instrument. They sound 1 octave higher than they are written on the grand staff. In order to help you understand what the ringers are looking at in their music, we've decided to scale it back a little bit for you, just for now. This is an example of a 1 octave piece that's intended for 4 ringers. It's a short excerpt of a piece called Peals of Joy, written by Jason Krug. The ringers you're going to be watching are playing between F5 and F6, 1 octave of bells. We hope you enjoy. A full handbell score tends to look like a piano score, but for someone with a few extra fingers, maybe a lot of extra fingers. To make things a little bit more manageable, we're going to be using that 1-octave music you just heard. It will make it a little easier for us to show you what each individual person is actually doing. In most cases, one ringer is in charge of 2 pitches, for example, A and B. We're going to be watching a video of William, one of the ringers from the quartet you heard, playing that exact position. In this case, William's left hand bells, his A notes, will be highlighted in blue, and his right hand notes, his B notes, or in this case B flat, will be highlighted in red, and you'll see that along the bottom of the score. For an extra challenge, why don't you try to air ring along to see if you can keep up? Now let's try that one more time with the whole group back in again, because playing handbells is a lot more fun when you've got the whole set. This time, the group will be playing the same piece an octave lower, so you can hear the difference an octave makes. We'll leave William's score highlighted for you on the screen so that you can keep ringing along. As you get into more complicated music, there are an ever-growing number of techniques that handbell ringers use to create different timbres, or different sounds, on their instruments. Your composers and arrangers will show you what they would like to have happen in the score based on a series of markings that they might place. I will show you what those markings are as I show you which technique we're talking about. The first set of ones we'll talk about are our stopped techniques, which are also known as staccato techniques, meaning that the sound of the pitch is going to stop after the technique is done. For instance, our first technique is going to be a pluck. A pluck is shown by a small dot above the note, a staccato marking, as well as the letters PL. We're going to accomplish this by grabbing the clapper on the inside of the bell and throwing it to the casting. Okay, that's our pluck. It's usually done in the lower bells as a kind of percussive, fun, driving rhythm kind of technique. You can also do it up top. I don't think it has the same effect. That's just my personal preference. Next up, I'll show you the thumb damp, which is exactly what you think it is. You're going to place your thumb on the casting of the bell and play it like so. I think these create more of a castanet-like sound for the higher pitches. You can also add an extra finger or two to get an even drier sound if that's what you're after. With the bigger bells, you definitely want to add a couple of extra fingers because otherwise that vibration is just not going to stop. Now, we can also do this technique on our hand chimes by placing our finger in the tuning slot, which is the space between the tines here. Or with our bigger chime. Right? That is also shown again by that polka dot, the staccato marking, as well as the letters TD. Next up, I have a plethora of mallets here. Our mallets are shown by the same staccato marking with a plus above the dot. Now, each of these mallets is a different size and color, and each one will create a different sound on the different sizes of bells, and they're designed for a particular size. So I'm going to use this mallet for our G4, and I'm going to strike the bell at just about the same spot that the clapper head would strike the bell on the inside. I can do the same with our smaller bell and our smaller mallet. You won't really see mallets being asked for chimes because it basically does the same thing as the clapper head hitting the tine on the other side. However, you will use those mallets on those really large hand chimes that William showed us earlier in the video. After our stop sounds, we have what are called sustained techniques, and those will sustain the pitch as opposed to stopping them right away. For instance, you might see an arrow pointing up and an arrow pointing down next to a longer pitch. This would be our swing. It's also sometimes marked as SW. A swing starts with a regular ring, and then you're going to take your back leg and bring the bell down to it, and then bring your bell back up. Like so. Usually the ringer will be facing forward and take a step back. I have to be very aware of my wall behind me. And that's going to create kind of a Doppler effect. It's very cool when multiple people do it at the same time, especially in a chord. Now, one of our stop techniques that I skipped over is called a mart. And a mart is when you take the handbell and you push it into the table. Its full name is actually martellato, which is Italian for to hammer. So you take your bell and you hammer it into the table. We're thankful for that foam right about now. Now, to make that a sustained technique, we're going to do the same thing, but we're going to bounce off of the table. And that's our mart lift. One technique that you saw earlier in the Peals of Joy video, right towards the end, Catherine has a shake. And you can do that by doing exactly what you think, shaking the bell. You'll notice some ringers shake it front to back, and some ringers will actually turn the bell and shake it side to side, especially if they'll be doing that for a long time. You always want to be moving along with your shake so you can still get that sense of breath control and a change in dynamic as you're playing. Now, another sustained technique that I really like is called an echo. You're going to ring the bell and you're going to touch the lip of the casting to the table, which will create a little womp womp kind of sound. That's another one that's really cool with the more people playing it. Now, the last one that I want to show you that you're likely to see in this week's concerts is a singing bell. This is kind of similar to a Tibetan bowl, if you've ever seen one of those, where you're going to take a wooden dowel and you're going to run it around the rim of the bell. Now, you'll notice it takes a little while for it to get started, but once it does, you'll have a really long sustained pitch that just makes the bell sound like it's consistently singing. Whenever the ringer wants that to stop, they'll simply lift the wooden dowel off, and the bell will either be held to sustain or damped. Now, at any point, a composer or arranger wants us to not damp and continue the sound for a longer period of time. They will likely write the letters LV, which stand for let vibrate. When you see a let vibrate, it basically means don't damp until you're told to again. That will be when there is a little bullseye sign, or if the letter R appears, which basically tells you to go back to regular ringing technique. You may also see some of the ringers in the concerts holding multiple bells and/or chimes in one hand at one time. This is a very helpful technique, particularly for the higher treble ringers, when they have to play multiple octaves of the same pitches to bulk up a chord or a melody line. They can also use this technique to ring multiple bells that are maybe sharps and flats of each other in quick succession without having to come back down to the table. We call this four-in-hand. Usually, you'll have two bells laying on top of each other's handles, where one bell remains in the regular ringing formation, right, with the handle and the letter name facing you, while the other bell will only ring on the plane as if you were knocking on a door. With this setup, you can isolate the two notes, ringing regularly, ringing in that knock formation, or you can play them at the same time by finding about a 45-degree angle between the bells for them to ring together. Now you'll notice those were two bells of the same pitch in two different octaves. If I'm going to do that consistently, sometimes what I'll do is I will turn this lower bell so that the two clapper heads are facing in the same direction and their planes are equal. Now this way, when I go to knock, both of those bells will ring at the same time. If I don't want to do that and I want to be able to isolate them, I'll usually use what we call four-in-hand as opposed to what I just did, which is called Shelley. Now, as I mentioned before, there might be a time where a treble ringer specifically has to ring multiple bells very quickly with the sharps and flats. If I organize my bells in a smart way, I can go up and down a chromatic scale without having to put any bells on the table or pick anything back up. Now, when things get really complicated, sometimes you might need 3 bells in one hand. When that happens, it is generally 3 different octaves of the same pitch. So here I have G5, G6, and G7. If I hold these bells like so, with this highest bell now being held by my pinky, I can ring all of these bells in the 3 octaves, which will really help to fill out a chord. This happens especially at the ends of pieces, so keep a lookout for that during the concerts. We hope that this video has given you some insight into what's going to be happening on the other side of the table during the concert you're about to watch. Special thanks again goes to the American Musicological Society's Coalition of Music Organizations, who made this video and our pre-concert lectures possible through a public outreach grant. We are so thankful for your support and for helping to make this a possibility. We hope you all enjoy the concert. Thank you for watching.
Thank you. Thank you, my Pennsylvania. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Nope. Derp. Nerpy nerps. Better on the last day than the first day. Hi. Thank you, my Pennsylvanians, for that lovely welcome. I'm going to walk out of my house, I think, on Monday morning and just say, I'm Linda Otterevely, Executive Director of Handbell Musicians of America. For those who don't know, I work remotely and I live by myself, so then I come here and it's like an absolute total opposite of my life, so I'm kind of, it's going to be weird to go back to silence. But it has been unbelievably fantastic spending time with all of you this week. I hope you've had a good time and you've learned and enjoyed yourself and each other. So today's concert is extra special because it is featuring our all-star choir, and they are the cream of the crop, if you will, of our handbell musicians. And it also features Distinctly Teen, our lovies over here in their red shirts. And we made a conscious decision a few years ago to always end with Distinctly Teen. We saved the best for last. But we also like to end showing the future of handbells, and that's what you all are. You're the future of this instrument. So we have 36 Distinctly Teen folks here today, representing the following states in the United States of America: Indiana, Ohio, Maryland, Virginia, Washington State, Idaho, California, South Carolina, Oklahoma, and Illinois. Did I miss anybody? I got everybody. Woo! And their fabulous conductor is Dr. Lynn Atkins. I almost said Mr. Dr. Lynn Atkins from California. So we're looking forward to hearing from all of you. Thank you to Hillary Murata, who is the event coordinator for Distinctly Teen, for all of the work that she does. So wherever you are hiding, Hillary. Hi, Hillary. You'll miss me saying it. Please silence your cell phones. And also, we have asked for the air conditioning to be turned off. So just hang in there. They're working on it. Okay. We just want to keep you awake. All right. And now I am very thrilled to present the All-Star Choir, directed by Brenda Austin.
Thank you. That, of course, was written by the illustrious, uber creative Jason Krug. We are the All-Star Choir, and we are pumped to share some music with you. This is always my favorite concert of National Seminar, because it's just a little bit raw. Everybody else has been practicing for 6 months. We've been practicing for 4 days, and it's just, I love it, because that's what it's all about, is just coming together and sharing some music. As I like to say, changing the world with handbells. Right? These folks were all selected via a video audition process, and so they did know the music ahead of time. But in case you were curious, there was a video audition that they had to do. We came together Tuesday, and we've been practicing. I work for Hope Publishing in Carroll Stream, Illinois. I'm one of the editors there, and I work with Joel Rainey. He is my partner in crime, and he arranged this next piece. The thing that I love about Joel Rainey's writing is that he doesn't arrange for handbells. He orchestrates for handbells. So I trust that you will hear the camels of the caravan and the mystic sounds of the Middle East as we traverse the desert in search of the one for whom the stars foretell. Here is We Three Kings, arranged by Joel Rainey. One of the many things I love about handbells and our handbell community is that we love to come together and share, to learn, to teach, to learn from each other. This is one of those art forms where we truly, most of the time, we learn it from each other at these kinds of things. One of my first mentors in handbells was Janet Van Bailey from Kalamazoo Ringers. And she's very encouraging to me, and she encouraged me to write something for them so I could start to learn how to write for this kind of an ensemble. And one of the things that she encouraged me to do was to keep the ringers busy. They're happy when they're busy. And I would soon come to learn that if we don't keep the ringers busy, they either whine or they get into mischief. So, this was my attempt to keep everybody busy. Now, these fine musicians I decided to keep extra busy and just add a whole lot of instruments too. So, here is Vivace. Some of you might be familiar with the name Maren Alsop. She is one of the most groundbreaking, barrier-shattering orchestral conductors of our time. truly the baddie of all baddies on the podium. In March, she began a movement, #PurpleBaton, in support of women in leadership as well as specifically women on the podium. So here's to #PurpleBaton and encouraging all of our underrepresented musicians to take the podium. The winner of the 2026 Oscar Best Original Song, here is Golden, masterfully arranged by Nick Hansen. I know that in the plannings of this national seminar, we wanted to focus on the religious communities a bit and how we might be able to help and service those folks who do handbells. And so I thought this next one would be a great addition to our program. It's a stunning arrangement by Alex Giebert, Be Still My Soul. I love Alex's writing. I think he has a particular acuity for writing for the bass bells that I've never figured out yet, but I'm studying it. So you can listen in for those things. I wanted to read you the text. Be still, my soul, the Lord is on your side. Bear patiently the cross of grief or pain. Leave to your God to order and provide. In every change, God faithful will remain. Be still, my soul, your best, your heavenly friend. Through thorny ways leads to a joyful end. Is there a better word than stunning for that song? I think it's the of our generation. So I would like to thank the HMA Planning Committee and the staff for the honor of conducting this year's honors choir. It truly is an honor that I treasure. Thank you, thank you. Thank you to the amazing musicians behind me who put in the preparation to come and the cost. They had to pay to be here. We didn't pay them, they had to pay. And just throughout the week, they've been team players, and just thank you so much. We could not do what we do if it were not for the people who loan us equipment, who bring it. I would love sometimes, I know Linda likes statistics, how many bells we have used this week. Particularly for this group, I would like to thank Malmark, Cross of Grace Lutheran Church, Susan Oxley, Director, Church of the Savior, Joe Gallion, Director, Justin Hooten and the Charlotte Bronze, First United Methodist of Eaton Rapids, Director, me, embellish, me. But anybody who brought equipment, schlepped equipment that's either on this stage or, in the hall somewhere, thank you. Can we all just give a big round of applause? And they did it with a smile on their face, nonetheless. So I'm sure that they will be sleeping. Tomorrow they've got to return it all, so it won't even be tomorrow, but maybe Monday. In the Hall of the Mountain King is a famous orchestral piece composed by Edvard Grieg. It was a play, and Peer Gynt. And Peer is kind of a mischievous character, and he winds up in the Hall of the Mountain King, being the Troll Mountain, and he manages to get in trouble. He starts out, you can hear him tiptoeing, and then finally he angers everybody, and a big chase ensues, and they're running throughout the mountains. So that is a little bit about this one. Again, thank you so much for this honor and a privilege to be able to conduct this for you today. Here is In the Hall of the Mountain King, arranged, transcribed by Martha Lynn Thompson.
Hello, hello, hello! Hello, National Seminar. I am so excited to introduce to you the amazing young musicians that make up Distinctly Teen. The massed handbell ensemble behind me gathered on Wednesday afternoon, and over the last 3 days, we've had such an amazing experience getting to know each other, cracking a few jokes, maybe shedding a tear or two, all in the effort of providing this concert to you. We are 36 musicians strong this year, ranging in ages 13 through 18, and as you heard, from about 20 states across the nation. We started this afternoon with Fred Grayman's transcription of Louis Vierne's organ masterpiece, Caroline. Our next piece, Jason Krug's arrangement of the Korean folk song Arirang, will feature one of our Distinctly Teen students, Kyle Jackal Hu, on violin. Caleb Onstad's A New Day takes us all on a programmatic journey through the day. The composition begins with sunrise and experiencing the sun waking us up. Morning takes over commutes to school or work, or perhaps that trip to the gym for that morning pump. We settle into the vibe of the afternoon and the natural realization that the hustle and bustle of the day is behind us. We continue to find a slower pace as evening sets in and the sun gives way to the moon launching into the sky. At nighttime, Caleb gives us a new theme that evokes the feeling of a lullaby. But just as things come to a pause, dawn breaks, and a new day begins with the original theme and the rush of our next day beginning. We believe, however, that this piece is also a great example of life. It's exciting. It causes us to focus and to work hard. Sometimes we have slow days and busy days, but the days come and go. Faces.
Not faces, me.
the students of Distinctly Teen and I would like to take a second and thank all of the chaperones who have been with us this week. These awesome caretakers, whether it be parent or teacher or friend, have shepherded our students throughout the day, guiding them around our space here in the Handbell Commons and ensuring that they arrive on time to rehearsals, and in addition to countless other wants, needs, requests, things that feel important but maybe aren't. In recognition of their support, I would like to ask for all of us to give these chaperones a round of applause. Please stand up, DT Chaps. Thank you so much. We, the team, have also decided that this next piece has been one of our personal favorites. It's Michael Glasgow's Quietude. I couldn't see Jason when I did his piece. There you are! Thank you, Jason! Okay, this is a long list. Please sit back, relax. It's gonna take a second. Because there are so many people to thank that have made this year's Distinctly Teen a major success. We are so thankful to all of the students' music directors, teachers, church music directors, all who helped prepare these students for this week. Some folks that have been helping us throughout the week downstairs in our rehearsal room, Justin Wooten, we're so thankful for your tutelage on bass bells. Thank you so much. Up here with me, we have Catherine Gerardo and William Murphy. We're so thankful for you bringing in with us today. Everyone here at Handbell Musicians of America for this opportunity for all of us to get together and celebrate the future of handbell and hand chime ringing. We all, myself included, have been corralled, helped, mentored, consoled, and cared for by Miss Hillary Murata. Thank you so much. Thank you. How are we doing back here? Close? Okay, good.
Very close.
Great, I'm glad to hear it. We close this afternoon with Kevin McChesney's arrangement of Elton John's defiant pop album, I'm Still Standing. Over on my shoulder here, you'll see Mr. Kyle Weber on the keys and Sir Greg Ashurst on cajon. We're so thankful for them joining us for this. And on behalf of everyone behind me, we're so happy to have had the opportunity to perform for you today, and we wish you all the best as you travel home. Thanks.